Offside podcast, episode 12, Nathan.
Back on pure audio, unfortunately. Couldn't get the
Yeah.
video in today.
Turns out cameras are smarter than I am.
Apparently. Cameras are apparently difficult to work with.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to end up turning out, but that's not really of concern right now, Nathan.
No, it is not.
Because what's of concern today is that we're going to have like a 4.5 hour podcast.
Yeah, we're
That's
gonna
what's
have a longer than usual one probably.
And to make up for no video, we're going to make this a 3-part bio series.
Yeah, this is our biopic. Stick around. First 10 viewers get a firm handshake.
Tell us on Twitter how much of this you didn't want to hear anyway.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. Totally off pod. It's great. Nathan, I think you should take it away because
we should get
we've got
started.
some hate for today, and we've got a lot of notes.
We do have quite a few notes, yes. So I guess we'll start with a classic. Jersey talk.
Jersey talk.
We really need we need a stinger for that, you know? We need like a...
Yeah, I'll come up with something, I'm sure. I got to. I have to at this point.
Jersey talk episode. I'm just going to restart at 2. Last week was 1, this will be 2. All Jersey talks prior to that were just the beta version.
They're the beta build. They're the unfit.
Jersey talk episode 2. The Suns released a jersey. The Nuggets released a jersey. Nothing too fancy. Nothing too crazy. The Suns kind of like condensed their Valley jersey down.
Yeah,
they like simplified the Valley jersey.
It's strange.
It's
strange.
Hate it.
It's not.
I like it.
Different, really.
No, I do like them. I've always been a big fan of the purple to yellow gradient kind of idea.
Yeah, I just don't like the way it's been executed here.
No, I think there's not enough purple, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of like orange, yellow, and black, orange, and then the purple just feels out of place.
But they're not awful. At least they have a little bit of flair. It's not just here's some text, here's a number, have a nice day. Whereas the Nuggets, it just looks like they're ones from last year.
I don't know. I kind of like these ones like more than the Phoenix ones.
I do like these ones more.
They look like they're from like 1972.
But like,
really,
I don't know if you've seen the 21-22 Nuggets jerseys. They look almost identical.
Yeah.
Here, let me send you a photo real quick. These are the ones from last year.
Okay, yeah, it's the same thing, just the text is yellow now. There's a red ring around the arm. It's kind of like they added the finishing touches they didn't have.
Yeah.
To me.
So, I mean, it's not that I don't like them. It's just like, generally
when are these jerseys going to impress us? You know what I mean?
When you go,
when am I going to be proud?
A new jersey, you don't necessarily think, oh, let's just change the text color.
Yeah, to me, this isn't a new jersey. We refined last year's jersey.
Yeah. So, again, I don't not like them. Like, they're nice jerseys. They're just not, I don't know, not mind-blowing. I'm not, like, going crazy over them.
I'm just tired. Like, I didn't realize so many new jerseys come out, and you don't really notice it because they're not worth noticing. Like,
no. I did like the Bucks
I want to see some that come out that actually intrigue. The Bucks ones were nice, but like they're still not like, hey, I'm not going to see like, hey, have you seen a new Bucks jersey?
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm not gonna. It's not the kind of jersey where I'm gonna be like, I want to buy that jersey.
No, I haven't seen any of these that intrigue me. I'm not a basketball guy, but I don't want any of these. No, like I wouldn't want to wear them.
There's yet to be a new jersey that I'm like, I want it. Like, Memphis has been hitting hard for the past few years, but this year it just seems like they came up short.
Yes, but I mean, like at this rate, if you can say a team has put out any nice jerseys, I think they're in the lead.
That's true. I think Memphis is in the lead in terms of nice jerseys. The Raptors were going hard there for a bit when they brought back the vintage jerseys.
Yeah, that was nice.
I want them to bring back the early Raptors jerseys, like the early DeMar DeRozan jerseys.
People ripped on like the purple and the Raptor and stuff because of the way it was chosen, but honestly, I love the Raptors logo.
I think the Raptors logo,
the purple and the red.
Yeah, the old logo.
I love the black and the gold. I mean, I think they do a really solid job.
The white vintage Raptors jerseys were voted the
That
best
is
classic
awesome.
jersey. Out
Yeah,
of all,
that is a
all
great jersey.
Is it terrific? I have it. I have one. I have a Siakam one.
I feel like I know lots of people who have that.
Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you have it, right?
Right? We did a 2019 finals watch party at a friend's house, and everybody except me was in a jersey. And I don't know. I'm baseball. I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, there's tons of them.
But yeah, that's jersey talk. That's try to keep it relatively short for this episode.
Apparently, it's just a weekly feature now.
Apparently, yeah, just because every week someone new goes, we're gonna make here's our jersey, and
we're
then
gonna
I
make
go,
more
okay,
crap.
it's fine.
Look at our crap.
It's like last week how we had the Detroit swim team jerseys.
Yeah, that was funny.
It wasn't.
Speaking of crap, though, Nathan, this is
Speaking
kind of
of Detroit, actually.
Oh wow!
Segue.
I like your segue better, but
Bogdan Bogdanovic, not related to Bojan Bogdanovic, actually.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, they're not related.
They're not brothers?
No, they're not related in the slightest. They're actually from two different countries.
Well, shows you how much I know.
Yeah. Bogdan. No, it was Bojan. It was Bojan. I wrote the wrong text. Bojan Bogdanovic got traded to the Pistons for Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee.
Olynyk, Canadian, shout out.
Yeah, shout out Canadian.
Constantly plays on our national teams for everything and is just kind of decent.
Yeah, unlike Dwight Powell, who apparently when he plays internationally, he's just a monster. I went to go watch him in person, and but he's nuts when he plays on the international team.
Really, how much competition do you go up against in international play, though?
But it's to the point where he looks like Dwight Howard almost, like a prime Dwight Howard. And you're like, this shouldn't be allowed. No, at no point should this be fair.
What is happening?
Why can't you do this for Dallas?
That's what you were doing this weekend?
Oh no, that was a couple of weeks ago. This weekend I was at Comic-Con.
Right. You basically run Comic-Con, don't you?
But that's not the point. We're talking about sports. This trade is okay. I don't know. I feel like it's more so just both teams kind of had like a preference for who they wanted. Like Utah didn't want old guys.
Win here, right?
I guess.
Like that's what you say.
I mean,
but it's not really a win. It's just that you didn't lose this trade.
Yeah, no one lost this trade, but no one won this trade. Like Utah got.
But I feel like like Bogdanovic is going to give the Detroit way more than Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee will, right?
Well, yeah.
At least upcoming.
Yeah, that's true. In this upcoming season, Bojan Bogdanovic will give more. In the future, I think you'll get more out of Kelly Olynyk and Saben Lee.
Well, how much of a future does Kelly Olynyk have left?
Well, Kelly doesn't have much of one, but Saben does. Saben's not even in his prime yet, so.
Well, I know, but if you're getting traded for a Bogdanovic with somebody else, how high is your ceiling?
That's true.
I don't know. It's kind of nothing.
I think it's just it's not a win-win. It's not a lose-lose. It's just kind of a trade.
It's just a trade.
It's just a trade. It's just something that happened that we decided to
It's one that 2K wouldn't stop the simulation to tell you about.
Exactly. It'd be to the point where 2K would be like, oh, I forgot to tell you earlier.
You'd have to go scroll through the transactions to find this.
I feel like Saben Lee's going to look weird in black and yellow, though. I've always seen him in red, white, and blue. So, like, I don't know. Just seems weird. It's kind of like Kelly Olynyk. Like, I just associate Kelly Olynyk with the Pistons now at this point.
Sort of, but he's
he's played in other places, but he's played in Boston.
Well, I thought I was going to say Celtics.
I remember. I used to be a huge Celtics fan when he played in Boston.
Really?
Yeah, back with like Jared Sullinger and like Brandon Bass and all them. And Avery Bradley used to play there.
Huge Celtics fan then.
I was like mid Isaiah Thomas prime.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like you live in Canada. Why are you a Celtics fan for that?
I don't know. I just liked Isaiah Thomas, and then I just learned everyone else around him too.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think. Like at least everybody who gets into sports young, that's probably how they do it, right? Like
they would pick a player.
I know when I was
a team based on that.
My mom was way into the Blue Jays, and when I wasn't really paying attention to baseball when I was a kid, I liked the video games, so I picked the Blue Jays, and it was like I knew like the Jose Bautistas and the Edwin
Yeah.
Encarnaciones, and then you just learn the rest of the team from like whatever video game, watching games, whatever.
I used to
And
be
now look at us.
a Suns fan too because of Steve Nash and
I was
Amari
a Suns
Stoudemire.
fan. I was a Suns fan.
And
I
then
get that.
I used to be a Rockets fan because of Yao Ming.
I don't know if I'd ever say I was a Rockets fan, but in 2K15, that's where like my player got drafted, and I had a stellar career, and so I
Gotcha,
kind of have an
gotcha.
attachment.
Yeah, Yao Ming and Tracy McGrady. That was a good squad. I like that one. But on to some controversy, I guess.
This is a
That's
fun
pretty cool.
controversy.
It's not a controversy that's like
I mean, it's
really
not
that
fun.
bad.
That's really for anybody involved, but it's fun for us to talk about.
This one I think we could actually get into because it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ime Udoka got suspended for the 2022-23 season over on a quote improper relationship with a member of the organization.
This is not a new thing. This happens more than you would think.
I don't think it was necessarily a sexual assault.
No, I heard everything has been consensual, but it's still it's a workplace thing. It's
poorly handled.
It's HR, really.
Yeah, it was just
and not for nothing. Like he does have a wife and all that. Like it's outside of the workplace, obviously, but.
So I mean, it wasn't. I wouldn't necessarily put it under scandal, but I would put it under controversy.
Good.
No, it's not good.
No matter how you cut it, it's bad.
But yeah, this is
he was the last person who had that happen. There was another one a couple years ago that was Dallas.
5 guys got fired from Dallas.
5? What?
5 guys got fired in Dallas because of it.
I thought it was just the head coach.
No.
Okay, that sounds way more over my head than I had been prepared for.
Like this one's just Ime Udoka.
Maybe it's not like that.
This one's just Ime Udoka. I think they handled it properly. Unlike the Sarver situation, to be honest. I think Robert Sarver is the NBA only told Robert Sarver that he was suspended for 1 year. Whereas like
and then I think he got pressured into
he resigned on his own. Well, not on his own. He basically was forced to resign. He had no choice.
Yeah.
But I think the NBA
that's a matter of the owners. The owners group is a little bit more tight than the coaching staffs are. Like, you know what I mean? Like the league, the owners matter more to the league than the coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's probably a reasonable explanation for that.
But Udoka did get. I think it was a good punishment. I think this is a proper punishment for him.
Yeah, I mean, from all accounts that I've read, it seems to be like consensual and kind of as on the level as something like this, I guess, can be.
Yeah.
And I think that this is fair. I mean, it's more, like I said, it's more of an HR thing than anything else. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not bad. I mean, what is
anybody
bad,
who has an HR in place at their job can assume what the outcome would be like for any of us. So I mean, makes sense. True. Sorry, Nathan.
But what is bad is Boston's finals chances are now in my eyes. Boston's finals chances are out the window.
Really?
They're just gone.
Because of Gallinari, Robert Williams, and Udoka?
Yeah, they don't have their coach anymore. Gallinari's out for the season. Robert Williams is missing probably a good chunk of the game because he just got surgery on his knee.
Who is in for Udoka for the year?
Do
they hire somebody, or is
it? It's like an interim, like.
It'll be like one of their coaching staffs?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I guess it's still their system for the most part, and your bench depth is limited. But how does that take them out of finals, Nathan?
Because Ime Udoka is like a really smart coach. Obviously not in this situation, because a smart person wouldn't have done that.
Basketball wise,
he is a very smart coach, and in my eyes, the only reason they got to the finals last season was because Ime Udoka is such a smart coach.
You don't think it's because like Jason Tatum exists?
Well, no. Obviously, Jason Tatum has a big part in this, but like, I don't think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and I guess in this case Malcolm Brogdon and Marcus Smart can do it on their own.
I was gonna say, once you get past Jaylen Brown, it does start to not sound great.
Yeah, it's like Malcolm Brogdon, Al Horford, Marcus Smart.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think they got rid of Daniel Tice.
In my head, the Celtics are always like 5 Hall of Famers in their starting 5.
True, yeah. Marcus Smart's is solid, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It
I'm not
depends
going
on
to
how Brogdon
discredit
plays in
him, but
the new thing. It's also because
that's
they
true. I
got new
guess he could
players.
be a bit of a flip either way.
Yeah, it's also because they got new players and they don't have Udoka to kind of get them in the system.
That's a fair point, yeah, and those guys are going to be key parts of their rotation.
So I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't think they're gonna make the finals again.
Okay, you might have won me.
But
You might have won me.
I think they will make playoffs. I think they'll be a top 4 seed and still.
Either way, that bodes well for the Toronto Raptors.
It does. Because
we're
maybe we'll beat them in the playoffs.
Maybe we'll get past the first round.
Maybe we'll beat them in the playoffs for like the first time ever. Who knows? But I'm excited for this year because not only is preseason exciting, but there's a big announcement throughout the preseason.
Oh,
yeah!
I didn't see this.
There is,
dude. There's some huge stuff going on around many of the big leagues this week.
Yes.
Apparently, this is awesome.
So, first of all,
tell me, it's not one of the teams I'm hoping it is. Okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
But, oh my god, I'm really excited.
Okay, so we're gonna start off. The NBA is doing international games again. So Golden State is going to be opening up the preseason against Washington at 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday in Japan.
And whoa!
And it's an hour flight from Washington's power forward Rui Hachimura's hometown.
That's incredible.
So it's probably going to be a lot of Rui Hachimura fans in that crowd.
Wow, that's going to be a fun game, dude.
And honestly, if they don't play in their cherry blossom jerseys, I will be so
Are you
mad.
telling me that's 6 p.m. today? No, Friday.
No, Friday.
This week coming. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But like, if you tell me
that's right after we have class on Friday.
There is no class.
It starts
on Friday,
when we finish
too.
class. You're right.
So technically, we could just watch
it. That sounds fun.
Maybe a watch party. Maybe a TO watch party for this game.
Yeah, we might have to do something like that.
Yeah, if they don't wear the cherry blossom jerseys, I'm gonna be so mad.
It seems like you wouldn't be allowed to play it if you weren't in them, right?
It's the perfect opportunity to rock your cherry blossom jerseys.
It's almost like you've made them for this occasion.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna hope I don't butcher this name. But at 10 p.m. on Friday as well, the LA Clippers will be playing the Israeli League's Maccabi Ra'anana. I think that's
Ra'anana.
Ra'anana.
I don't know.
At the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle.
Oh,
Seattle, where Adam Silver will be announcing Seattle's new expansion team.
Let's go!
Seattle is getting an expansion team. It's probably not going to be the Supersonics, but
it's the Sonics to everybody already, and it always will be. I'm telling you that now.
This is true, but it's probably not going to be the Sonics because of the OKC's history.
I know that, but god damn it, Nathan, let me dream, okay?
Okay, well, I will
I'm 6 years into a Seattle Sonics franchise in 2K. I am devoted.
Yeah, we're getting Seattle back.
That's fun, man.
So that's gonna be fun.
With hockey going in there and not being outstanding, basketball coming into there, like
their culture is
I want to move to Seattle, my friend. Like, let's go. Tech industry, let's go to Seattle.
Seattle is so ready to get them.
That weather is way more my climate.
Oh yeah, for sure. We should go see a Seattle game now.
We can go to T-Mobile Stadium and watch the Jays play and be part of the crowd takeover. I don't know, man. I think we got to move to Seattle. I think that's what we're gonna do.
Speaking of T-Mobile, segue.
On
October 5th, the Phoenix Suns will face off the LA Lakers in Las Vegas.
No way! I have another Las Vegas expansion team. I kid you not. The Las Vegas Dealers. Let's go.
Las Vegas will also be having their expansion team announced.
So I'm just like extremely foresightful since this is like from 2 years ago I started these franchises. So look at me go. Let me run the NBA.
I'm proud of you.
This. I'm excited. These are two teams like that's why I made expansion teams there, because they're two cities where I feel like basketball is really necessary. I mean, you look at both these cities, they already have baseball, football. Vegas
and
doesn't
now
have
hockey.
baseball, hockey, football, and then we have baseball, and now we're getting basketball and both.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
That's gonna be
that's
massive.
so exciting.
I'm so excited for it.
Okay, we move to Seattle. We go on Vegas vacations all the time.
All right, sounds
We
good.
can drive there. We can drive. It's no problem.
This is true.
Oh my god, dude. Our future's mapped. We're gonna bandwagon these new NBA teams. This is gonna be great.
I'm gonna be a massive. Depending on which team has the cooler logo, I'm gonna be a massive team of either Seattle or Las Vegas, or a massive fan of either Seattle or Las Vegas.
Right, why don't we just go opposite then, and we'll live our lives as foes.
All right, sounds good. I'm into that.
We'll duel dramatically.
Cool.
Oh, I'm so into this, Nathan. I'm so expansion drives me wild. Are we gonna do like? Oh my god, I can't wait to do it when we find out who's like protected. Do we get to find that out before the draft?
I think so. We can mock draft.
We're gonna mock draft these teams. That's what we're gonna do.
Yep.
And then let's do a 2K simulation for a year and see what happens.
All
oh my
right,
god.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm so around.
Other than those games, the other non-NBA city and non-NBA team games will include Utah versus Toronto and Edmonton on October 2nd, 6 p.m. All of this
I wish they do that in the middle of like the square, like the mall.
That'd be sick.
It's like a bad like 80s promo event.
In, like a rodeo arena or something.
Oh my god, that's even better.
But it might be. It might be the Oilers arena. Who knows? The
Why
Adelaide
did they play the 76ers?
What?
Just put it in Philly.
True.
That'd be so fun.
The Adelaide 36ers are playing the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, October 2nd, 10 p.m.
Great.
Milwaukee versus Atlanta in Yas Island, Abu Dhabi.
Whoa.
October 6th, 12 p.m.
Oh my god, Trey and Giannis are gonna have some fun in Abu Dhabi.
That's gonna be sick. They should have it in a hotel, like in the sky.
They probably could. They could have it on a full-fledged, like there's yachts there.
Yeah, I know.
That could fit this.
That'd be sick.
A distant dream of mine is to go to Abu Dhabi to go to the yacht show, the annual yacht show.
I want to go to, I think it's Abu Dhabi, that has the hotel with the boat on the top.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to go to that. Denver plays.
You do realize this episode is just planning our lives. Like we've got new destination, new teams, new travel vacations. Like
we're gonna do vlogs. We'll do vlogs.
This is so good. Okay, keep going.
Denver plays the Clippers in El Segundo, California, October 12th, 10:30 p.m. Boston plays Toronto and Montreal, which is hilarious to me. October 4th, 10 p.m. Because Boston, Toronto, and Montreal are like notoriously all rivals.
Just rivals? Yeah, that's fair.
So the fact that they're doing Boston versus Toronto in Montreal.
Everybody in Montreal just hates everybody
both
coming
of
to
them.
the game. That's so funny.
It'll just be boos the whole time.
Yeah, as a non-French Canadian, Quebec's not always the greatest place to be.
And lastly, we have Atlanta versus New Orleans in Birmingham, Alabama, October 14th to 8 p.m.
Let's go. The tailgate to that game is going to be awesome.
Crazy.
Oh my god, I can taste the shrimp now.
So now we're going to talk what's going to happen with the expansion teams.
So good. I love this.
So, both of them are going to be in the Western Conference, which means that either Memphis or Minnesota are going to move to the Eastern Conference.
Why only one? Is that how it's balanced right now? Is there an uneven balance?
Well, no, because there's going to be 32 teams, so one of them would have to stay.
Okay, but if both new teams are in the West, doesn't that shift? Am I just dumb?
Maybe it's both then. Maybe it's both.
Because if you're adding two new teams to the West...
No, because it'd be the equivalent of adding 1 and 1. And if you added 1 and 1 on each side, no one would move.
I guess. Okay.
So then if you put 2 in one side, only one would move.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So yes. Either Memphis or Minnesota will be moving. Or potentially New Orleans, but I'm pretty sure they won't.
I doubt it.
Memphis is the further east one, but Minnesota is so far from every other team that it would be more
Minnesota's
logical.
basically Canada already. I
Yeah,
mean,
it'd
you
be
kind
more
of just
logical if
lump that
Minnesota
in as the
moved, to be
East.
honest, because they're further from everybody. But if
I'd like
Memphis
to see
joins,
Minnesota in the East. I think that'd be good. Memphis in the West, I like where
yeah,
the power stays there.
John Morant needs to stay over there.
Yeah, I
We
think that's
don't need
good.
him dominating our conference.
True, actually, I didn't think about that either.
So if Memphis does join, they're gonna join the Southeast Division, not Southeast Conference, Southeast Division, and will potentially move the Washington Wizards to the Central or the Atlantic, probably the Atlantic, because
I think,
it
yeah.
just makes more sense to them for them to be kind of bundled with like the Raptors, the Celtics, the Nets,
Yeah,
and all that.
absolutely. In my head, that seems like that should already be the case.
Yeah. And if Minnesota moves, they'll be joining the Central Division, which most
That
likely
doesn't
nothing
really
will
have a
happen.
ripple.
It'll just kind of they'll just move in, and then everyone will just stay where they are. If
This
C-
is funny. If they move, they could move OKC. So like OKC took our team. Now you're gonna have to find yourselves in a new conference. That's kind of a funny
yeah, if
retaliation.
Seattle joins the Northwest, it'll either move OKC, Denver, or Utah, not to
Okay,
um another conference, but like
obviously, yeah, to a new
into another
division.
division. This is all assuming Minnesota's the one who relocates.
Okay,
If Minnesota doesn't relocate to the Eastern Conference, Minnesota's probably the one that moves, or nobody moves.
fair enough. Okay.
Las Vegas will probably
Well,
join the
almost no matter
Pacific.
what, we can expect Minnesota to move.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
Minnesota's gonna move.
Okay. I
Las Vegas will
hope so.
probably join the
Makes sense.
Pacific alongside like the Cali teams and Phoenix.
True.
Wouldn't really cause any shifts. But here's where it gets fun. If the league wants to, and they want to keep divisions consistent league wide, there would be an expansion into 8 divisions instead of 6 divisions,
Oh,
which would then allow them to retool the amount of games in a season because a lot of people are like a lot of players are complaining that 82 games is way too much.
that's fair. I mean, in baseball, I'm kind of a heathen. Like, give me more games. But yeah, I guess in basketball, I mean, what would your ideal number of games be, Nathan?
Probably somewhere in the 60 to 70 range.
Really? Okay.
I would have to actually sit down and like properly
Well,
plan
I was
out.
gonna say, statistically, where do you think the decision falls where it's like we're not getting bad teams in the playoffs?
True. Yeah, I think you're doing.
Because I was gonna say between 72 and like 76.
I could see
'Cause you
72
gotta think
working.
like you gotta think commercial revenue, all that type of stuff that goes on with TV
Yeah,
contracts.
I could see
All that
72
shit's gonna
working.
affect where this is.
Because, like, I think you keep the 4 games against the people in your division.
Mhm.
Because right now it's 4 games
The
against the
other
people in
thing
your
too, how does
division.
scheduling work? Because like no NBA teams don't have to play every NBA team, right?
No, every team does play every NBA team at least
Okay,
once.
exactly. So you're not, unless you're worried about that being a rule, which is now a thing in baseball. I don't think you have to worry about scheduling for reducing games too much, as long as
No.
you keep that division conference
Yeah,
stuff
you
set up
play your
properly,
division
weed it out.
4 times. You play your conference hemisphere, I think it is. You play your conference hemisphere 3 times. You play the other hemisphere twice, and then you play someone from the other. No, no, it's 4-3-2. I think it's just 4-3-2.
Okay.
Your division is 4, your conference is 3, the other
And then
conference is
wherever
2.
else the games just fall.
Yeah, and then everything else kind of just is what it is. So they'd probably shift that. It might be 1 game against another team in another conference.
Okay.
But then now it's no longer like a home and away kind of situation. So
So if they switch to an 8 division setup, how does that look, Nathan?
in terms of, well, it won't change the playoffs
You
in
don't
any
need to
way.
give me the team layout or
Yeah,
anything like that necessarily, but like what divisions does it go to?
it would probably, I don't know the names of them,
No, but
but
give me a vague
Cali
idea, like
would
where
get
we're
their
at
own
now.
division. California would get their own division
Fair enough.
because there's already 4 teams there. There's Sacramento,
Yeah,
both LA teams, and Golden State. It makes no sense
sure.
not to have them be a division.
Right.
You
And that's a
probably
great
get,
thing for just rivalry generation and shit like that in
yeah,
general in terms of marketing,
like
whatever.
who wins the Cali division? That would be cool.
Right.
You probably have Seattle, Portland, together because they're
Yeah, that makes
already
sense.
together. The issue is the closest team to Seattle and Portland is Sacramento.
Ah, so
But
what do you add? Like, do you get OKC in there maybe?
maybe you move them. You throw like Minnesota
Or
in there.
Utah? You get like a Utah?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, well, Utah would probably be in there. I would put Utah in there.
I guess you could do a Denver as well, maybe.
Yeah. Well, so like, okay, so there's this chart I was looking at actually. I just found it again.
Okay.
The way they have it broken up is Seattle, Portland, Sacramento, Golden State.
Okay.
Then you have LA,
The
Phoenix,
two
and
LA
Vegas,
teams.
which is doable. LA, Phoenix, Vegas, that's fine.
Okay.
Utah, Denver, OKC, Memphis.
Okay.
I don't see Minnesota in here, so I'm a little
That
confused.
seems strange.
Oh no, there's Minnesota. Yeah, they're the most spread out of all of them, but like it's hard to bundle that group because it's like
Sure. It's a
I
big area of
think
the country with a lot in between. I mean,
yeah, if you wanted to do just a Cali group, I would do like Sacramento, Golden State, LA teams. I would do Utah, or not Utah. I would do Seattle, Portland, Vegas, Phoenix.
that's good.
So
I
it's a
like that.
vertical slice rather than a
Yeah.
horizontal chunk. And then you still have Utah, Denver, OKC, Memphis.
Yep.
The 3 Texas teams in New Orleans. So Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, New Orleans.
Okay.
Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte.
Okay.
Which is kind of like that southeastern area.
Yeah.
They would still be the southeastern conference probably.
Sure.
Toronto, the New York teams, and Boston. You're just kind of taking Philly out of that, basically.
God, that's such a yeah. I mean, I guess even with Philly, that's a great conference or division, but like that's a fun division.
Yeah, and then you're just doing like Cavs, Pacers, Wizards, Sixers by taking Philly out and moving them with the Cavs, the Pacers, and the Wizards.
I like that one.
Yeah, I think Philly just kind of dominates that one though.
I kind of yeah, but I mean those other teams can be competitive with Philly.
That's true, like the Cavs.
Yeah, I like that, man. I hope that's what. I don't think it will or not, but that's what I hope that's what happens.
The last one would be Minnesota, Milwaukee, Detroit, Chicago.
Yeah, like this just all makes more sense to me.
So
it's
like
less
moving into 8
for
divisions,
players.
yeah. Moving in eight divisions works.
This is good. I like this, and it balances out your schedule too. Like if you're playing your division 4 times, then 4 teams.
Exactly. Well, at that point, I think it would be you're playing your division
3 times.
3 times. And then you're playing your conference probably twice instead of 3 times. And then you're playing the other conference either twice or once. Which seems a little weird, but
I guess that part makes it a little bit hazy, but it's still fun.
Yeah. I mean, we're not the commissioners of the NBA. We don't need to figure this out.
Far from it. No, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I think they might just stay with 6 divisions and then have 2 divisions with 6 teams instead of 5.
Sure. That makes sense.
But it also kind of unbalances it because now how do you do playing your division 4 times? Right? Like how do you do playing everyone from your division 4 times because now people have more games?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Okay, maybe.
So I think regardless, they're going to have to change how many teams or how many games are played in the season.
This is why the commissioner's office is just a bunch of lawyers. They can figure this out.
And lastly, for the preseason, we're just going to throw like a little players to watch thing. For Raptors fans, Christian Coloco is our rookie. He's probably going to be playing. If you want to watch him, that's a good time. Sure. Otherwise, rookies involve Banchero, Ivy, Duren, Keegan Murray, and Jabari Smith. So that's Magic for Paolo Banchero, Pistons for Ivy and Duren, Sacramento Kings for Keegan Murray, and Rockets for Jabari Smith.
This sounds real dumb, but just in my fantasy brain, that's a fun starting 5 there.
That is a fun.
I don't know how many games it wins you, but it's fun to watch.
The issue is you have no shooting guard.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know if you win a lot, but it's entertaining.
It's 4 big men and an athletic point guard. So
That's what I mean. It's great.
it's
Great.
basically if you
Fun
surrounded
basketball.
Ja Morant with like 4 power forwards.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good time.
Zion Williamson will probably be playing in some preseason games. The quote unquote new and improved Zion Williamson, who has lost weight and gained more muscle, if that's even possible.
Wow. That's scary.
I know, right? A stronger Zion Williamson.
Is he still going to be injured the rest of the season?
It depends. He's
Is
gonna
that
be
just how
like because
is that
he's
just
been
how his
practicing.
career goes now?
Apparently, like he's been He's been doing full practices. He's been in the weight room. He's been kind of like he's been looking good, to be honest. But
I
just
need a
matters
full
if
season of dominant Zion. I really need that in my
I
life.
want 1 full season at minimum. And LiAngelo Ball, the third Ball brother, the long forgotten Ball brother, has signed a
non-guaranteed contract.
Yeah, with the Hornets.
Where was he playing last year? Was it overseas?
No, he was playing in the G.
He was in the G. Okay, right.
He played for the Hornets G League team, and then he got waived.
Wow.
And then he just wasn't playing.
What, is he just not the good Ball brother?
He's just a shooter. Is the issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's all he does. He's just a shooter. So a lot of teams are like, we have those. Or, the league has a lot of those already.
Not for nothing. How much do you want to put up with LeVar Ball? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's my biggest
like
thing.
LaMelo and Lonzo have
guy.
kind of distanced themselves from LeVar Ball. So it's it's a little different.
I don't know. I remember watching when Lonzo got drafted, and I just remember like his dad being there, and his face the whole time was like, "Fuck, I could finally do something on my own."
Literally. I mean, LeVar obviously is like a genius, though. He's just a crazy
guy. It sort of worked. Yeah, it's one of those people you hate to deal with, but like they get it. Like they are doing what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and like he is a smart guy. Like he knew how to market his sons. He knew how to get them drafted high. And he was correct about like how good they were.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't lying.
But also he's a little crazy.
If you're a front office, you're just like, all right, we got to get one of the interns to just be like on LeVar duty, I guess.
LeVar duty from that point forward. But that's
holy shit. There's so much in basketball.
Yeah, that's it for NBA news. 40 minutes into the episode.
Dude, it's not going to get any shorter. I might have to fly through or get rid of some of this. This isn't okay. I mean, I wanted to do this day.
We'll try and cover week 3 of the NFL quickly.
I will fly through a this day in sports and the NFL as quick as I can today because there's so much news all the way around. But the this day in sports stuff, there's just too much fun shit. I'm gonna jump over some of them, but for this day in sports. 1908, Ed Rulbach. He's the first person to pitch a doubleheader shutout in Major League Baseball. That's kind of cool. 21, Ruth hits 57-58 in his home run total. Shortest doubleheader in 1926. First game was 72 minutes. The second game was 55 minutes. The Yankees already clinched the pennant, so I guess they just didn't care. Warren Spahn, 1959, winningest lefty of the NL of all time. 61, obviously, the famous home run race. Maris hit 60. 1965, I wanted to mention this one because the LPGA had a championship this year. Women's golf, obviously. Stardust CC. Sandra Haney wins by 1 stroke. It's got to be the oldest professional women's sports league, right, Nathan? LPGA?
Probably.
That's gotta. I assume it's much older than 1965, but that's impressive. 1971, Jim Palmer wins his 20th game of the season. I mention this only because he's the 4th Oriole that year to win 20 games as a pitcher, which I didn't know that was possible. 1973, Nathan, a little insight. Wilt Chamberlain signs with the ABA San Diego Conquistadors. This is post-dominant Wilt Chamberlain?
This would be
73? Is this pre-rookie? Like pre-Wilt the still Lakers? I don't know when Wilt played. I'm a bad guy.
To be honest,
70.
me neither. So
Fair enough. 77, Cleveland Browns play their first overtime game. 1978, New York District Court Judge Constance Baker Motley, awesome name, rules that women sports writers cannot be banned from locker rooms. This one's ridiculous. 1979, the 1984 Summer Olympic coverage in LA was sold to ABC for $225 million in 1979 money. That's a shitload of dollars and cents. I did have a yacht race thing in here, but forget that. And then this one is insane. 2004, Ed Whitlock becomes first person over 70 to complete a marathon in under 3 hours. He had a time of 2:54:48, and it was at the Toronto Marathon. So
shout out
that's pretty
Canada.
interesting.
Also, I
A lot
did
of
check.
weird stuff.
This would be a 37-year-old Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, wow. Damn. 37. Okay,
Yes.
so he goes to play in the ABA as an old man
Yes,
just
it's
because
like
he
the
doesn't want to
equivalent of
stop
playing
playing.
overseas.
That's crazy. That's so wild. The ABA is so interesting between like the coaches and the players that were involved in
Yeah.
that, and then like
Yeah, like
a lot of
Julius
interesting
Irving was
stuff
in the
there.
ABA.
Well, and isn't the ABA also the one who's like the in perpetuity deal they signed to like always get TV percentage rights? And at the time, TV meant nothing.
Something
So
like
everybody
that.
was like, "You stupid idiots!" And every year for like the last 60 something years, they threw a party saying in perpetuity because they were making hundreds of millions of dollars now for nothing. I think they actually just signed a deal to like close that deal off a few years ago, and it was worth over $1 billion or
That's
something. Just
crazy.
they paid them out finally. They're like, "We're not going to keep giving you like 2% of all our TV ad revenue. That's too much." Oh, yeah. I don't know. Weird day on this day in sports. There's a lot of strange things. A lot of baseball, like records and stuff, because it's the end of the season, but just like, I don't know, weird stuff. That was before I realized how much I had. So, MLB, we'll get into it because there was a big milestone weekend this weekend for a couple of guys. If you're not following baseball right now, you're missing out. The home run race in multiple categories has been hot for all of September. Judge hit 60. He's the first player since 2001 to hit 60. And what I'm excited about, they play the Jays tonight at 7, starting a series, which A, has major playoff implications, but B, means Judge will, I'm hoping, get 61
61, baby.
at Rogers Center. If you aren't watching it or buying a ticket, I'm not sure what you're doing. You should be doing those. That fight for that ball is going to be violent. This is going to be crazy. If he hits 61 and 62 in Toronto, Nathan,
People are
I
gonna go
think Yankees
crazy.
fans are going to riot. They're like, "Those weren't in our stadium. What the fuck?" Like,
Aaron,
I,
what the
I,
hell?
that's the other thing too is there's going to be a shitload of Yankees fans at like in the Rogers Center.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be an intense game to watch right now. Especially I'm watching tonight 100%. Pujols, the man, the myth, the legend, the machine. He hit 700. He's the second player with 700 homers and 3,000 hits in all of MLB history, only behind Hank Aaron. And he's one of only 4 players with 700. It's Pujols, Aaron, obviously, Ruth, and Bonds. Unless Pujols goes crazy over the last like week of this season, he's going to end up fourth on that list of all-time totals behind Babe Ruth. And I found an interesting article on this one from Sportsnet. It was talking to a former Chicago Cubs pitcher, Ryan Dempster, who is, I believe, Canadian. You don't. There was a joke about because he's given up more home runs to Pujols than any other pitcher in his career, which Pujols has hit more home runs off of different pitchers than any other player in baseball history. So to give up the most to that guy is like it's saying
Yeah.
something. And he's really good spirits about it. It starts off, you don't have to push Ryan Dempster at all. When you bring up the name Albert Pujols, the retired pitcher offers a response so good it seems rehearsed. I'm an expert in giving up home runs to Albert Pujols, Dempster quips. If you're gonna go get back surgery, you go to try to find the best physician to do that. But if you want to know how to give up home runs to Pujols, there's nobody more qualified than me. He grabbed 8 home runs in 79 plate appearances against Dempster. And I tagged the article there, Nathan, if you wanted to leaf through it or tag it in the comments or whatever the hell. It was an interesting read. A lot of guys have a lot of good stuff to say about Pujols, so anything you read about him, you're going to have a good time reading. This is fun. Shohei Ohtani's first 200K season as a pitcher. I assume we're going to be looking at many, many more of those in the future, of course.
Yeah.
The man is a freak. He's a unicorn, and he seems to be durable as shit so far. So, perennial MVP candidate, here we come. Juan Soto, speaking of perennial MVP candidate, I could not find the other guy, which pissed me off, but he's the first player younger than 24 times to walk 500 times since 1906. I don't even know how to put that into perspective, if I'm being honest. I mean, 500 walks is so crazy. The fact of, like, he's known for being the best, like, he has the Soto shuffle for watching pitches. That's what he does. He works walks. And to play younger than 24, you can't just walk a lot. You have to do everything else exceedingly well.
Yeah.
So that's huge, especially for a guy who hasn't been hitting since he went to San Diego, really. It's good to see that he's still been consistent, as he has all year with his walking. Luis Castillo, a guy I really wanted the Jays to go get at the deadline. A lot of teams wanted to go get him. Mariners got him. They signed him to a 5-year, $108 million extension. And not that I'm afraid of the Mariners. I look down on the Mariners, and people get mad at me because they're better than I give them credit for. But their rotation now is scary. It's obviously Luis Castillo, Robbie Ray, Logan Gilbert, Chris Flexen, and Marco Gonzalez. So, yeah, in a playoff series, you don't feel bad about having any of those guys on the mound. So that's always nice to have. Nathan, Don Mattingly stepping down as manager of the Marlins.
That I know.
I feel like you'll find this one interesting, and I added his managerial baseball reference page here if you want to take a look. So I bet you didn't know he managed the Dodgers, but he was the manager of the Dodgers before Dave Roberts.
Okay.
And since then, he's been with the Marlins now. So he's been there 6 years, I guess. 7 years. He has a record of 437, 584. Not great. Over 1,000 games as manager. It was mutual supposedly, and I believe that. I think this is just kind of like the writing on the wall. Time has come to move on to somebody else, especially with Derek Jeter coming in and coming out like he did, and kind of what happened to the team this year, just with injuries and where they've fallen. So I don't know. I mean, I think that Don Mattingly is going to go be able to find, a special assistant to the Yankees position or something if he wanted it. But I don't know. If you're Donnie Baseball, I think you just go hang up the cleats, go flip on the game on the television and sit by the pool. Guy's done more for the game of baseball than most people probably realize. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in Miami now. The boy, Jazz Chisholm, going to come back next year stronger than ever with a new manager. Excited to see who they go with. Kim Ang being in there and kind of the turnover in the front office. There's going to be some strange candidate. We have no idea who, I'm sure, that steps in there. And I'd love to see Miami be good. It was 6 days, it was 6 years ago, I think, the other day that Jose Fernandez passed away too. And I got into an internet debate with people about how if he hadn't died, you can't tell me that 2015-16 Marlins team doesn't make it to the World Series between then and now. Nathan, I don't know if you know what that team looked like. Do you know what the 2015 Marlins team was like?
I do not.
All right, I'm gonna find this real fast because this team is one of the nastiest teams I think ever. Let's see how fast I can pull this up. I shouldn't be wasting time like this, but I got to do this.
It's okay. People are expecting a long anyway.
Here, I'm going to send you this right quick because this team I went and started as in multiple baseball games just because it's so elite. Where's their lineup here? Their lineup, JT Real Muto at catcher, Justin Bour at first base, D. Gordon at second, now D. Strange Gordon. Danny Hechavarria at shortstop, who's one of the best defense-only shortstops ever. Martin Prado at third base, Christian Yelich, Marcelo Zuna, and Giancarlo Stanton in the outfield. They also have a 41-year-old Ichiro Suzuki here. a 25-year-old Derek Dietrich, who is just coming up, getting ready to hit bombs. Miguel Rojas, who's actually still on that team in real life. Blue Jays legend Gerald Saltalamacchia in there. And their pitchers are Tom Kohler, Dan Herron. They've got David Phelps in there to the bullpen. Jose Fernandez, obviously. Jose Urania, 23 years old. I mean, I don't know if you know many of these names, Nathan.
I'm recognizing a few of them, yeah.
Tell me the outfield of a 23-year-old Christian Yelich, a 24-year-old Marcell Ozuna, and a 25-year-old Giancarlo Stanton doesn't excite the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's terrifying, actually.
And Justin Bour at first base. I mean, JT Realmuto is still one of the best catchers, but Justin Bour at first base, one of the most underrated first basemen in the game, in my opinion. I got him in MLB 15 on my Blue Jays team. And that was when I played every game of the season. So in back-to-back years, 2015 and 16, he hit like 62 and 64 home runs for me. The man was a freak. So in video game fashion, at least. But that team is stacked. I would have loved to see them stick together. But moving on, some stuff we don't really care about. Tigers hire Scott Harris as president of baseball ops, and the Royals fire Dayton Moore and hire JJ Piccolo as president of baseball ops. Piccolo was kind of a nothing baseball player, got hired underneath Dayton Moore and has kind of been following up the ranks ever since. And then we've got a few clinches so far. Mets clinched their postseason berth along with the Braves and the Yankees, and the Guardians clinched the AL Central. So we've got one more week or so of baseball. A lot of these playoff races are kind of already decided, but I'm excited to get to postseason coverage, Nathan. I don't know what we're gonna do. I think we'll just have to go over some series.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe I can get you to watch some highlights or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
Who knows?
do you have a playoff prediction for baseball? I know you don't really follow it, but having kind of been aware of it all year, what do you think?
The Dodgers are probably pretty high up there. The Yanks are pretty high up there. You had a sleeper team that I agreed with.
I've been saying since the beginning of last off season that it was going to be Jays over Braves in 6.
I think it was the Braves that I
mean, the Braves won it last year. They kind of had a mimic year this year of a lot of injuries and kind of having to push down the stretch, but they've clinched.
Obviously, that's all that Braves needs to do. I want the Jays to do well.
Fun thing, Nathan. 30 years ago this year was when the Jays won the 92 World Series. Do you know who they beat to win the World Series?
The Braves?
The Braves.
No way.
So I think accidentally, subconsciously, that I made that prediction knowing that, and I would love to see a rematch of that.
That'd be crazy.
And then next year, in 93, they beat the Phillies. So if the Phillies have a good run next year, that'd be fun. I'd love to if you could mimic history and go back to back this year, next year, 30 years later to the same teams, that'd be fun. That'd be like one of the best storylines in baseball history. Yeah, I don't know. That's my fantasy. I think that right now, like the only 100 win team in the American League, I think, is the Houston Astros, and the Yankees are right behind them. They're not at 100 yet. And then in the NL, the Dodgers, like you said, yeah, they're 100 plus win. I think they're like 106 wins right now or something.
I think the Dodgers are probably gonna find their way, either making a very deep playoff run or just winning it all.
I think most people right now are expecting kind of what we've seen of the Astros beating the Yankees in a big AL playoff series and the Dodgers waiting for whoever wins to reach them kind of thing. But I would love to see it if kind of the Astros and the Dodgers both had their heads knocked off in the playoffs and we got to see a bit of an underdog storyline coming up. That'd be a lot more fun for me. It's been too many years of just like Houston and LA trading the title for me, really. And I know like Atlanta won it last year and blah, 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 blah. But it's like every year it's just, okay, well, who's going to win it this year? Houston or LA? Like,
it's the equivalent of the Cavs Warriors thing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's exactly it. But yeah, we get to move on to a little NHL talk because like you brought up before we started recording, we got some retirements today, Nathan.
Yeah,
a couple big guys, but we're going to start off with a young man getting paid. And if you don't know the name Nathan MacKinnon,
you don't know hockey.
You watch hockey? He got a 8-year, $101 million extension. Has been in Colorado his whole career. Going to stay there probably at least a large number of it. Nathan, without looking at his page, tell me, do you know where Nathan McKinnon was born?
I know he played in the W, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alberta?
Not quite. He
Manitoba.
played. Oh, much better guess, but still not quite. He's from Nova Scotia, my friend,
Nova
Halifax.
Scotia. Oh.
He played for the Halifax Mooseheads.
Okay.
I think they won the championship the year he was there. But yeah, he's won a Stanley Cup, obviously, 2013-14 Calder Cup winner, two-time All-Star, obviously the All-Rookie team, and 2019-2020 Lady Byng Trophy. So, I mean, he's won the accolades. He's gone out there. He's proven he can do it. He's had 3 years with a negative plus minus rating. That was his not rookie, but second, third, and fourth years. And then ever since then, it's just been consistently improving. And he's like right now, the past 2 years, a plus 22 both years. As a defenseman, that's what you're looking for. And he's a leader on the team. He's going to be a leader on the team. And I love Nathan McKinnon. He's so awesome. He's great. Every Tim Hortons commercial with Nathan McKinnon in it is a good one.
What a draft class,
be a good way to sum him up. Yeah?
Nathan McKinnon, Alexander Barkov, Jonathan Drouin,
Wow.
Sean Monahan, Darnell Nurse, Ristolainen, Bo Horvat, Valeri Nichushkin, Max Domi, Nikita Zadorov, Curtis Lazar.
Holy shit, Anthony dude. Manta. That's a stacked draft class.
Klimchuk's in there.
Wow.
Yeah,
you couldn't go wrong that year.
Pretty loaded draft class.
That's impressive, man. Speaking of impressive, before you go to his hockey reference page, I want you to go to his hockey fights page. Zdeno Chara is retiring. The end of an era for hockey, if I'm being honest. Nathan, if you scroll all the way down to this page, you're going to see a video, and it's going to look like it's two goalies kicking the ever-loving shit out of each other. And I was confused because it's from 1998, and I thought it was Zdeno Chara as a goalie beating the shit out of another goalie. It's not. It's not at all. I think the goalies were fighting, and Zdeno Chara also fought.
But that makes sense.
If you don't know who this is, he played for the Bruins forever. But the man... He's the tallest player in the NHL. I don't know if it's history, but he was when he was playing.
Yeah.
And he was the biggest, meanest, toughest, just European kicker.
He was 6'9", not on skates.
He could beat anybody in the league to death if he really wanted.
People would go to hit him, and they would fall over.
They would hit him and injure themselves. I know when he got closer to the end of his career, he was getting tired of being the fighter, and he was tired of everybody showing up in the league trying to kick his ass and prove they're the next tough guy. And he really did kind of evolve to just be a steady captain, a good defender. And he did still fight, obviously, like February 24th, 2022, January 18th, 2022. But, like, you know, he did get away from that, and he did change his reputation, and he does seem like a pretty nice guy if you had him on your hockey team. So, great player, world champion.
And ended his career in the same team.
Yeah, made that a point as far as I can tell. Yeah, I don't know. I always loved when me and my buddy used to play NHL when we were little, we'd get the all-star team back when there was just NHL had just the one all-star team, and you played the same team against each other, and we would rotate off. We'd fight each Chara against each other, and then we'd do what's his name? Tampa Bay Lightning, Stamkos. We'd do Stamkos versus Stamkos fights. Those were a lot of fun. And then finally, PK Subban. Like we were saying, Nathan, after he left Montreal, I'm sure a lot of people didn't really hear about him again, but 2010, 2011 all-rookie team, 2012, 2013 James Norris Trophy, 21-22 King Clancy Cup, and then he was also a three-time All-Star. Finishes his career as a defenseman, 834 games played, 115 goals, 352 assists, a career +5, which is lower than you'd hope for.
Yeah.
But Yeah, a really solid defender, like we were saying, Nathan. During those Montreal days, like
He was probably one of the
13
best
through
defenders in the league.
16, probably one of the best, most sought after defenders in the league. Obviously, injuries kind of hampered him throughout his whole career, but I mean, he overcame it, and I really did love PK Subban when I was
Yeah.
younger
Oh, he's
watching
a great
hockey.
guy. He's a great guy.
Like even when he went to Nashville, like he was so good in Nashville. And then New Jersey was just kind of like, oh yeah, PK Subban still plays hockey. Just like they
Yeah.
were a bad team and he wasn't outstanding, but up until the end, I mean, he's a really fun hockey player. Again, Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Shout out Canadian.
2007 entry draft. I don't know. You got me excited. Oh, look at this one. Number one overall, Patrick
Patrick
Kane,
Kane, James Van
James
Riemsdyk,
Van
Kyle
Riemsdyk,
Turris, Carl Alsner, Sammy
Thomas
Gagne,
Hickey,
Voracek,
Logan
Couture.
Couture, Lars Eller, Kevin Shattenkirk. Wow. Okay, not as deep of a draft. Max Pacioretty, 22 overall. Look at that.
Patches.
That's pretty cool. Mikhail Backlund. Yeah, I don't know. This is as good as the
Perron.
last one. PK Subban, second round draft pick. Look at that,
43rd
43
overall.
overall. Huh. That's pretty interesting considering a lot of guys ahead of him never played in the NHL.
Yeah.
But yeah, so congratulations on a good career to Chara and Subban. And now we can get on to some of the big stuff NFL. And we have a big piece of NFL news. The NFL has decided to eliminate the Pro Bowl. Um, they're replacing it with a week-long skills competition and a flag football game,
I
which
know this is going to trigger a lot of NFL fans, but I think this is a good decision.
no, I'm sure most NFL fans are rooting for this, Nathan. It's already
Okay.
viewed as a flag football game.
This is true.
Most of the best players find a way to not play in it. They don't want to get injured. If you're
Exactly.
not in the
That's what I'm
Super
saying. It's
Bowl,
better to
obviously you're not
avoid
playing it.
injuries. Flag football is becoming a more popular thing.
And I mean, not for nothing. Like you're freak athletes. Go show me what you can do at
Yeah.
like
Take
age
off their
36.
gear, see
Show me
how
your
crazy
skills
they are.
competition.
Like,
Like yeah, I think that's far more impressive, and it's more fun. The
it
players are going
is.
to want to do that kind of stuff because it's nothing but publicity and a good time and a party
Exactly.
with a bunch
Yeah.
of the guys. So this year's February 5th, 2023 at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. I found this fun. Peyton Manning's company, Omaha Productions, will be responsible for programming and promoting the event for the week leading up to it.
That's sick.
He'll also serve as one of the coaches for the flag football teams. So that's cool. I did have a quote from NFL executive Peter O'Reilly, but basically he's just talking about how we've been, we've looked inside and found it a way to evolve. I'm like, no, everybody who watches this and participates in it says it's horseshit, so you're changing it. Yeah, players are not excited for this. They didn't want to play the tackle football game. So,
Yeah.
yeah, let's play some flag football, have some fun,
It'll
whatever.
be way more fun. I think
I
more
think if
people
this,
watched the dodgeball game last year than they did watch the Pro Bowl.
yeah, I think if this was like 1980 and this happened, it would be like rampaging.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In modern today's football, it just doesn't matter to people anymore. And I mean,
No.
you're still getting the Pro Bowl selection, which is all that really matters out of it. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see what the skills competition looks like, if it's just the draft combine or what it is. But the NHL's way they do it, the skills competition, is pretty fun.
I like their
So,
3-on-3 competition.
yeah, the tournament is awesome in hockey. I was really happy when they made that change.
Yeah.
So maybe it's gonna end up being like that, paying off and really changing the way it is. I wonder what it like. How do you think Madden takes this now, then, Nathan? Like, because there you can play like the Pro Bowl rosters
Well,
in
you can play
Madden.
like football. You can play like street football in Madden.
That's true, actually. I never played the yard, but they did add that feature. So yeah, I think that this could be a fun setup. Something that's not fun at all, and especially considering we're, I guess, kind of sort of Bills fans by association. I mean, you're a pronounced Jaguars fan, but
I am, unfortunately.
Bills safety Micah Hyde out for the season with a neck injury. He believes he'll be able to return next year, but supposedly it looks pretty serious. Um, it didn't look like a terrible. Like he seemed okay
He
afterwards.
has movement in all of his limbs.
Yeah, like he wasn't even like wrapped up really. I didn't see in like a neck breaks or anything on the cart. Maybe I was not paying attention, but it didn't look like it was as dramatic as it could
Yeah,
have been. So
he has reportedly Like, he has movement in all his limbs. He's able to control everything.
Yeah. But
He's
it's a
probably
huge
just in a
hit
lot of pain.
for the Bills secondary, especially with that safety duo they had and
Yeah.
the hopes for the championship this year. But the most important thing, Micah Hyde being on a football field, I hope all the best for him because he is a stud. So fun to watch. Then now we're going to get to some week 3 coverage. Now, I did make the mistake of going over every game, but a lot of them were really worth paying attention to. I am going to skim through these as fast as I can. So week 3, Broncos win ugly over the 49ers, 11-10. Not a game you should have watched. Melvin Gordon had a late TD. 49ers had a deflected pass that was intercepted, and then they fumbled it. So way to go, 49ers. Packers, they hang on to a win over the Bucks for 14-12. Only Rodgers' second career win over Brady in their careers against each other. Bucks got the ball back on the last drive. They made it 14-12 with 14 seconds left, but they didn't get the 2-point conversion. Vikings escaped the Lions 28-24. Vikings took the first lead in the final minute, and they trailed 24-14 starting the fourth quarter. So kind of a sketchy win for the Vikings, getting away from the Lions, which is never something you want to have to deal with when you're playing Detroit. Dolphins beat the Bills. This was kind of the game of the week. What's that?
The butt punt.
Oh, yeah, this is kind of the game of the week. The Bills crushed the Titans at the end of last week, 41-7. That was the day we were recording, I think. But this week, it did not go as well. Miami had to punt out of their end zone, and it got punted into, as Nathan said, a butt. It forced a safety, and the Bills got the ball back down 21-19. But the clock ran out before the Bills could spike the ball and attempt the field goal. So in the loss, Josh Allen had 400 yards and threw 45 more passes than Tua.
What's crazy about this?
Everything?
Because of this game, in the last 12 games for Miami, they are 11-1.
Oh. Wow.
Miami has only lost one game in their last 12 regular season games.
That's crazy to think about, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, I'm astounded that you can throw 400 yards and lose a football game.
I know, right?
I mean, we're not at the end of it, though. There's a few quarterbacks this week who had some big numbers who got nothing out of it.
That's true.
Moving on, Colts upset the Chiefs 20-17. They scored the go-ahead TD with 24 seconds left. Mahomes throws game-ending interception. Colts are now 1-1-1 because you're the mediocrity joke of the league. Browns defense stopped us the Steelers 29-17. It was 14-13 Steelers at halftime. So Cleveland almost shut out the Steelers after half. They scored a field goal and a TD and kind of carried it from there. The Bengals stomped the Jets 27-12. Joe Flacco has 2 interceptions, did nothing else with his day. Burrow has 275 yards, 3 TDs, kind of a typical Joey B day. Ravens beat the Patriots 37-26. This is a great game. This is exactly the recovery game we were talking about after last week, Nathan. This just means everything we said was horseshit, which we probably knew it was.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Lamar Jackson had 4 TDs. He ran for over 100 yards and another touchdown. When no Raven receiver had more than 89 receiving yards, which is Mark Andrews, their tight end. And this one is one of the ones I was talking about, Nathan. Mac Jones, 321 yards, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns.
Yeah, he was just throwing the ball. He was just playing catch at that point.
How do you throw the length of the field over 3 times and never get a touchdown, though? Like, I don't even know how that's possible. Devontae Parker has 156 yards, 31.2 yards per carry after the catch, no touchdowns. Like,
crazy.
What? I don't know how that. I played football. I don't know how that works. Eagles crushed the Commanders 24-8. Jalen Hurts 340 yards, 3 TDs, balled out. Devontae Smith had 169 yards. AJ Brown had 85. And although the Commanders sucked, Terry McLaurin was great. He had 102 yards. I hope he gets to go play somewhere that matters at some point. Bears edged the Texans 23-20. All the Texans kind of across the board had decent receiving games. Nobody really jumped out, but everybody had some type of involvement. This is kind of the opposite of what I was talking about, Nathan. Justin Fields gets the win. He was 8 for 17 with 106 yards and 2 interceptions.
It was like how the other week he threw like 8 for 11.
Yeah, this guy just doesn't throw balls, but he wins games. Khalil Herbert had 20 carries for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. So apparently the Texans' run defense sucks ass. Rams beat the Cardinals 20-12. Cooper Kupp and Cam Akers had rushing TDs. I don't believe there was a throwing touchdown in this game. Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown had nice yardage this game, but they didn't score at all. And all of Arizona's points came on a field goal. Matt Prater, their kicker, was a perfect 4 for 4 with a 49-yard longest.
Whoever has him in fantasy is just like racking up points.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a good day for the punter, but what a shit day for Kyler Murray and everybody else who plays for Arizona. Falcons edge the Seahawks 27-23. Cordarrelle Patterson, 17 carries for 141 yards and a score. And what a game from Geno Smith. It doesn't matter because you lost, but 32 for 44, 325 yards, 2 TDs, and an interception is not a bad day. Seattle had 3 perfect field goals. It was 3 for 3 in field goals as well. Jason Myers, shout out. And here's your team, Nate. I saved the best for last. Your Jags blow the ever-loving shit out of Herbert and the Chargers. They matched their win total under Urban Meyer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was also 16-10 at one point in the third quarter, and Herbert and Lawrence both had good days, but Jags just kind of came back. Herbert didn't have much to say. And I will say, this was not sad, pouty Herbert from last week. This was a good Herbert. He just got beat real bad.
Because Trevor Lawrence is secretly a god.
It's all in the nose. That's what it is. That's where he keeps the magic.
It must be.
Peyton kept it in his forehead. Lawrence keeps it in his nostrils. Cowboys and Giants go tonight. I don't really care to watch that game at all. Probably won't even comment on it next week, if I'm being honest.
Not. It doesn't exist.
Some good college football too, Nathan. Now, I'm pretty notorious for not knowing college football. I did say I was going to become a Georgia Bulldogs fan, so I guess this is fun for me. Georgia Tech fires Jeff Collins, head coach. They lost 27-10 to UCF, and that was kind of the last straw. He was 10-28 with the program, not a record you strive to maintain. He was hired away from Temple, and he had to move their offense away from an option-based attack that Paul Johnson had over his 11-year run. And he had a little bit of leeway with this, but he never finished better than 10th in the ACC in total offense, and he won just 3 games in each of his first 3 years. And this year they're not starting off well. So Georgia Tech's going to look for, I don't know who is stepping up now, but somebody to step up, finish the year, probably go get a new coach this year. And I was going to say, too, it's kind of funny how, like, a coach really matters in college football. You know what I mean? In the NFL, it matters, but your teams are so talented. If you have a halfway decent coaching staff, you're going to have a chance at the playoffs. Whereas in college football, you can have the best players in the world, but if you don't have a coach who knows what he's doing with them, it means nothing. So it's going to be interesting to see what Georgia Tech does there. Like I said, I guess I'm a Georgia Bulldogs fan, so don't really care. Kansas State upsets Oklahoma 41-34. Kansas State held the lead the entire second half, Nathan, against Oklahoma. Adrian Martinez was the story of the game. He was 21 for 34 with 244 yards in the score, but he had 148 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground. So what more can you ask of a quarterback, really? I'm not sure if I can come up with anything. Miami upset by Middle Tennessee 45-13. Middle Tennessee, 25.5-point underdog, Nathan. That's insane. They were up 24-3 early in the second quarter, and it was literally never threatened the rest of the game. They just dominated Miami. So the Hurricanes not looking good to start the season. Playoff chances are deeply in turmoil right now. Yeah, because in
college, you lose one game, you're like...
Well, yeah, it's voting, right? So, like, if you're not undefeated, it doesn't really matter to the voters. Texas Tech comes back to upset Texas in overtime. This seems like it was probably like the college game to watch.
Yeah.
You could argue the Clemson-Wake Forest game I'm going to talk about in a second, but this one was insane. It's the first time since 2017 that Texas Tech has beat Texas. Texas Tech was down 31-17 in the third quarter and then scored back-to-back TDs. They traded field goals in the final 30 seconds, and then Texas fumbled in overtime, and Texas Tech got the game-winning field goal from the 20-yard line. So
Crazy.
It was a crazy comeback. I saw some of the highlights. The stadium was jumping. It seemed like a really fun game to watch, and it kind of seemed like a classic, like, this is college football. And then the other game I was referencing, Clemson and Wake Forest. Clemson survives 51-45, which is just a slaughter of points in football. This
No
one went into
defense at
double
all.
OT. And I didn't know this, Nathan, because like I said, not a college football guy. Wake Forest are the Demon Deacons.
Yes, I knew that because of basketball.
That's like one of the coolest mascot names I've ever heard of.
Also where Tim Duncan went.
Oh, really? Tim Duncan's a Demon
I
Deacon?
believe he's a Demon Deacon. And if I'm correct,
that's awesome.
so is Chris Paul.
Oh, wow. Wake Forest, let's go. Not a name that I really like. I know Wake Forest, but I didn't realize
Chris
it.
Paul
Like,
is a Demon Deacon, yes. And
wow.
yep, so is Tim Duncan. So I was
Look at
correct.
that. Interesting. Okay. Well, Wake Forest overcame an early 14-0 deficit. They took the lead 3 separate times in the second half. Both teams had field goals down the stretch. Wake Forest scored first in overtime, but Clemson answered right back. And then they scored again in the second overtime. Clemson remains 4-0, which is what you got to do. Yeah, this game seemed like it was kind of a slaughter as well. Both teams kind of got held back on the offensive side of the ball going down the stretch, but a really exciting game. And anytime you get a football game in double overtime, you know you're going to see some crazy stuff. So yeah, that kind of wraps it up here. I mean, I don't know, Nathan. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to in the week coming?
Preseason, baby.
Aside from NBA preseason.
No, that's it. Just preseason.
No, that's it? Okay, yeah.
I will be reporting on some preseason stuff, though.
You're not exactly that hard of a puzzle to figure out. It's just like 2 pieces and they're both squares.
Yeah, you're like, oh, basketball? More basketball? Oh,
basketball and a spreadsheet. Okay, yeah, no, I get it. He's going to be busy for about 46 hours. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm really excited, obviously, about this Yankees-Jays series tonight. I'm going to wrap up the editing pretty fast here this afternoon, I hope, because I want to get as into that game as I can. Aside from that, it's just like, hope my Jays do as good as they can, getting into the playoffs in a good spot. Watch Aaron Judge break the home run record. I don't know, man. I'm trying to just stay away from school as much as I can right now, if I'm being totally honest. So whatever's going on in sports, I'm happy
sure
for.
to tune in to a Japanese basketball game.
Yeah.
Between the Wizards.
Yeah, watch the Jays tonight and watch the Japanese basketball game on Friday. That's what we should recommend.
Yes. That's
start and end your week right. Okay, well, in that case, Nathan, you want to shout out some stuff for us this week?
Check out our
I'll leave it to you. Totally Off Pod.
Yep. Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, do something on YouTube.
I don't know.
Do something. I need some type of alert to check.
Then we'll catch you guys next week, I guess.
Do we have a preview of what we get to talk about next week? Do we know anything yet, Nathan?
Not really. We kind of figure stuff out as the week goes.
Well, I know that, but like obviously their preseason's done now. What's our next like bookmark for basketball? What are we steaming towards? Is it just opening day? Is there?
Yeah, I guess we're moving towards opening day.
What is there anything that we can expect from your basketball predictions before open day?
LeBron James is going to drop 36 points.
At some point this year?
In his season debut.
In his season debut? Okay, I'd like to see that. For me, it's going to be that, let's see, the playoff race in baseball. It's going to be that the Cleveland Guardians shock somebody in the first series and they actually win.
All right. Well, we'll make sure to keep those written down.
We won't, but
I don't know.
Tune in next week. Tell us that we forgot about them. Thank you very much for listening to the Totally Offside Sports Podcast.